One year inside the wrestling basement, coming at you with yet another one. In today's video, we gonna discuss and pretty much get my overall opinion on Charlotte Flair's injury. Like, is she really injured? And overall, like, was this a staged event as far as Charlotte Flair's career? And how long will she be out due to this injury? And when can we expect her to be back in the WWE? So, without further ado, let's jump right into today's video. So, as we all seen this past Monday night on Raw, Charlotte Flair went one-on-one with the Raw's Women's Champion, Asuka, which Charlotte Flair tapped out in the match, which she lost. Charlotte Flair said a while back that, people don't give her that much credit, for her in-ring skills, and she lose more matches than she win. At first, I didn't really see it, but Charlotte Flair lost all of her recent matches, and I'm finally catching on to it. She do quite lose a lot of her damn matches, and since Andrade is her boyfriend, and that's my favorite superstar right now, he didn't fall victim to a lot of losses lately, but that's neither here or there. But that pretty much, seeing that she lost to Asuka by submission, that pretty much proves that Charlotte Flair, she is beatable, and Asuka, she beat her this past Monday night on Raw in the main event for the Raw's Women's Champion. But leading up into that, earlier that night, Charlotte Flair got into an altercation with Nia Jax where Charlotte Flair's left arm got injured, which causes her to lose later on that night, which I just alluded to Asuka in a Raw's Women's Championship match. So, since I done caught you all up, right now in the WWE, Charlotte Flair is supposedly injured, but I got a strong feeling, and since I've been watching this product for so many years, I got a different perspective on this, and I know exactly why Charlotte Flair is quote unquote injured. And when I seen this whole incident take place, in the back of my mind, I was like, man, Charlotte Flair not really hurt. It got to be something behind the curtains on why exactly did this take place on Monday Night Raw. So in this video, I'm pretty much gonna break it down and tell you exactly what's going on. So, number one, the first reason, Charlotte Flair quote unquote is injured, because this whole pandemic that's going around in the world now. You probably what the pandemic got to do with Charlotte Flair being injured and all that. Well, I'm gonna give you a couple of side notes on this whole pandemic, and how big it has really affected the WWE at large. Now, number one, since the pandemic, we ain't had no live events. That didn't really affect all us, the WWE community. We can't go see the stuff that we know and love, and that being the WWE. So that's the first reason. That's definitely how effective this pandemic has been in the WWE. The second and third reason is, due to this pandemic, the current world champions in the WWE would not be the world champion if this pandemic didn't happen. Now, let's just be honest. Let's call a spade a spade. Roman Reigns will definitely be the Universal Champion right now if it wasn't because of this pandemic. And Brock Lesnar would still be the WWE Champion due to this pandemic. And, again, sticking to the subject of the pandemic, how does that, play a part as far as Charlotte Flair being out and injured? Because, in the WWE, they have their picks and they choose. And Charlotte Flair, now that the pandemic is going around, which it's been going around, it's really not a need for Charlotte Flair to be on the screen right now, because, people already don't appreciate her. So why is she wasting her time being on the screen? So as far as this injury, for one, it's a shoot and it's fake. Why? Because I've been studying WWE for damn near as long as I've been born, and in recent history, and I've been studying the charts and a lot of analytical data on WWE's, they movements and the way superstars interact around the ring. And studies have shown throughout all of my research, I'm finna put y'all on some real deal game as far as WWE, and I want y'all to look out for this in the future. Now, Charlotte Flair, well, mostly everybody in this world is, majority of people in this world is right-handed. If you're a left-handed person, that's very rare. So, mostly everybody in the WWE is predominantly right-handed. So, whenever a superstar suffer injury to their left arm or their left leg, 9.9 out of 10% chance it's fake. Not saying it's a shoot injury, they're not really hurt. And You know, in Nia Jackson, Charlotte Flair got into it. Charlotte Flair left arm got injured, and that's what caused her to lose the Raw Women's Championship match to Asuka. So that was the #1 red flag as far as Charlotte Flair being injured on Monday Night Raw. It was obviously her left arm, and that's clearly not real. Like, she was not, you know, actually hurt in this process. She's really just taking time off from the WWE. And, you know, like I said, since the pandemic is going around, it makes the most sense for the WWE to get Charlotte Flair off TV. Because, you know, like I said, none of y'all appreciate it. Hell, that sometimes, hell, I don't even appreciate Charlotte Flair. So it was time for him to get Charlotte Flair on up out of there. So, you know, the Hawk and Grow founder, as we miss Charlotte Flair off our screens on TV. So, like I said, the #1 reason why Charlotte Flair injury is not real, in my opinion, is because this pandemic going around, and they want us to forget about Charlotte Flair. So when she do return, you know, it's all a big celebration, and who shit she gonna take when she do come back. The second reason I feel like though this Charlotte Flair injury is not real, and what's really going on behind the scenes is they just giving Charlotte Flair a time off and time away from the ring, like overall, because since Charlotte Flair whole main roster call up from NXT, she been going balls to the wall hard on the main roster, you know, winning multiple world champions. And, you know, Charlotte Flair, most people feel as though the WWE push Charlotte Flair up on us. I thought that sometimes, you know, many of times, but you know, when you like look at it and you analyze it, you like, man, Charlotte Flair, she's really not over, like, Charlotte Flair's not overrated to me, because, you know, regardless of how many times we see her on the TV screen, it ain't like Charlotte Flair be botching promos. She don't botch no moves. The most messed up thing Charlotte Flair do is she'll mistime that backflip, which that will injure her and not her opponent. It ain't like she injured her opponents. If anything, she will injure herself. So, as far as Charlotte Flair with this time taking off, it's really, like I said, it's going to make the fans grow and want to really, really see her again. And it's going to make people miss and appreciate her so when she do come back. So, as far as Charlotte Flair being like overrated, like many people saying, it's a lot of people that don't like Charlotte Flair. Me personally, I'm not the biggest Charlotte Flair fan, but whenever Charlotte Flair's in the match, I'm finna bank my money on Charlotte Flair come on top with the win. Now, as like I said, as far as the time off, that's really the main driving force behind this whole injury. As far as her and Nia Jax, you know, that run-in that they had this past Monday Night Raw, and after she suffered a Raw Women's Championship loss to Asuka. Another thing, as far as the taking the time off, since, you know, the 4 horsewomen, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, and Bayley, we now seen Becky Lynch hold 2 world champions at one time, so she's already solidified herself as the GOAT. Charlotte Flair is arguably, you know, people gonna argue to the death of them that Charlotte Flair don't deserve it and she ain't all that, but one thing for certain, Charlotte Flair is definitely going to break Ric Flair 16 world championships. She's definitely going to get 17 world championships. And as far as the other 2, Sasha Banks and Bayley, we already seen Bayley. She got 2 belts. Now it's up to Sasha Banks to get her 2 championships. Which, since we are definitely about to see Sasha Banks first Oscar for the Raw Women's Championship, if Sasha Banks do defeat Asuka, she could very well hold 2 championships just like her best friend Bayley, in which you cannot discount that and you cannot bet against Sasha Banks in this match, because you got to also remember, they are the 4 horsewomen in WWE. They definitely have put all the focus on those 4 superstars. But since Becky Lynch is out, somebody got to fill Becky Lynch's role, you know, until she come back, if she ever come back. And in my opinion, it's definitely Asuka. So now in the WWE, we only got 3 of the biggest superstars, like as far as the women's division, and those superstars we seen this past week on Raw and SmackDown NXT, that being Sasha Banks and Bayley and Asuka, since Charlotte Flair is now out. And let me tell you exactly what they gonna run, because like I said, I know this stuff that the WWE do. We finna see so much of Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Asuka that when Charlotte Flair do return, man, everybody gonna be rejoicing. Everybody gonna be happy to see Charlotte Flair. So it's really all the mind thing that WWE is doing. The Crib team, in my opinion, they suck. But as far as this, if this method don't work to make people love Charlotte Flair when she do return, then obviously it'll be a big fail. But in my mind and what I know and like what I know from like past history, I know that this is definitely the route that they're going to make people love and cherish Charlotte Flair when she do come back. So in the future, the next couple of months, while Charlotte Flair's out, expect to see a lot of Oscar, a lot of Sasha Banks, and a lot of Bayley. Now, when will Charlotte Flair return? More than likely, it will be after this pandemic. And you know, she like Charlotte Flair, like I said, she been going like hard for the past couple of years. We ain't never seen no break from Charlotte Flair, because you know people say Vince McMahon been shoving Charlotte Flair down our throat. So now it's a time for her body to rest up, so she can come back and get 12 more world champions, so she can break Ric Flair record, like winning world championship record. So with that pretty much being the reasons why I feel as though Charlotte Flair injury was fake as far as like being on screen. You know, like I said, the number one leading cause behind this whole injury angle is because of the pandemic. You know, people don't appreciate her. And number two is so she can take time off, so you know the heart can grow fonder and we can appreciate Charlotte Flair. Now, a side note to Charlotte Flair not being appreciated and taking time off, you gotta keep in mind, they also is doing this same thing with Roman Reigns. You know, I personally miss Roman Reigns now. Roman Reigns really need to come back and, you know, take over SmackDown, because Braun Strowman not getting it in my opinion. And as far as Monday Night Raw, I honestly don't know. So, as far as Charlotte Flair being gone from the WWE, it's definitely going to make the heart grow fonder for all the fans to love and miss Charlotte Flair. So when she do return and she do become 17-time world champion, don't say one year didn't tell you that this was the plan all along. So, with that being the end of today's video, feel free to smash that like button, super kick the subscribe button, comment down below, and hit the bell notification until next time. This is the Wrestling Basement.